How much you want to bet this is the best Black Christmas? Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here for another holiday special reaction. I know I'm not wearing any holiday gear. Um, I just, I'm just not. But today we are here with the 2019 Black Christmas. This is actually the third Black Christmas movie. There was the original one from the 70s. There was one in 2006, I want to say it was. And now there's this one. And I have watched these in a weird order. Because I saw the original 2006 one first, before I even knew it was a remake. I saw that, like, I think around the time it first came out, maybe once or twice after that. Maybe. And honestly, I don't remember much of anything about it. It was just completely unremarkable and uninteresting to me. Um, though I have no idea what I would think about it if I saw it nowadays, 20 years later. So, because think about it, that came out like 20 years ago. Think about that. I am turning 34 in January. I was like a young teenager, maybe even a preteen when that came out, and when I saw that. Again, I might have seen it like once or twice after, but I probably still would have been like in school. I definitely have not. I definitely don't think I've seen it since I graduated high school, which again was still back in 2011, so 14 years ago. So yeah, I don't remember anything about it, but it just didn't like have any impact on me even back then. I do know that. And then we reacted to the 70s one. I don't know when we did that. Some time ago. And it was eh. I didn't like hate it or anything, but it just didn't really do anything for me. It felt like there was like it felt like there was stuff missing. There needed to be more time. It was left like completely unexplored and unexplained in the end what the actual truth of things were. It just felt like it was incomplete. As almost as if it were like expecting to have a sequel and just didn't for one reason or another. And I just didn't I just couldn't really get into it that much. Sometimes there are those movies that just don't really do it for me. And again, not even that they're bad. They just don't do it for me. But then there's this one. This one came out only back in 2019, so not too long ago comparatively. And I know there's a lot of people who consider it to be the worst one. That could mean a number of things, though. And knowing me, I could also notably disagree with that. I'm the person who likes the original cut of the Justice League movie. I'm the person who likes Batman v Superman. And I'm the one who prefers the 2016 Suicide Squad to the James Gunn remake. I have bad opinions, apparently. That's what a lot of people say, at least. But, you know, there's no such thing as a bad opinion. It's all subjective, and you like what you like. It's not really something you can help. That's something that a lot of people don't seem to fully understand. Whether or not you like something is not a thing you can just determine. If you watch something and you enjoy it, that's entirely subconscious. That's entirely something you have no control over. You don't decide if you like something. You just do or you don't. And obviously there's levels to that. There's like degrees at which you can enjoy or not enjoy something. But it's something that's completely within your mind, within your brain chemistry. And there's a lot of different like things that influence that. But again, it's not something you choose. So it's like me saying like, "Oh, I loved Batman v Superman. I thought it was a fantastic superhero film." It's like It's not, I didn't just decide to like it just to spite people or something. No, I just liked the movie. I thought it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. It's that simple. And I kind of feel like a lot of critics out there, not all of them, but a lot of them, tend to try to judge movies purely on their view of quality. They try to add a subjective marker to what makes a film good, and it makes a lot of these critic reviews, most of them, I would even say, it makes them feel like fake. Like, you know what I mean? It makes it feel like that these critics don't actually believe what they're saying, because they're analyzing so heavily that they're not actually forming their own opinion. They're forming an opinion based on what other people say is a good standard for film. And it's something that's always bothered me. And this carries not only just into movies, but shows and games and every piece of media. It's something that I've never liked. The overly critical crowd, especially those who are actually critics, like professionally, who watch films specifically for the sake of analyzing them rather than just enjoying them as movies. And again, there are plenty of critics out there who do just enjoy films as films, and it's very clear when that's the case. You can very much tell when a critic, even if they do it professionally, is doing it for the love of the game rather than, you know, for the sake of being a critic. I would say Chris Stuckman and Jeremy Johns are two examples of critics who do it because they just love movies. And I trust their opinions more than most other people, if I'm being completely honest. Um, so, yeah. Even if I don't agree with them, it's like I at least believe that they truly believe what they're saying. And again, you're allowed to have different opinions. It's all subjective. That's not an issue. My issue is, again, when people are judging a movie purely on these critical talking points rather than did I actually enjoy the movie or not? You know? But enough of my rambling about that. Um, I don't know like how accurate this is going to be to the original movie in any way. I assume it's going to be different in plenty of ways. I don't know if like the plot is going to be the same with like, you know, the killer in the house and everything, the sorority house or whatever. I don't know. I don't even remember how accurate the 2006 one was to the original. Because again, I don't remember much about that. It left no impact on me. Don't know if that's for better or worse, but it left no impact on me. That being said, I think we should just get into this and see what this has in store for us and hope for the best. We'll see how it goes. So let's check it out. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So I looked some things up after the reaction and all, and I was actually surprised to find out that this isn't the most hated. I guess the haters of this are just the loudest. Apparently, the 2006 remake was actually much more like hated. It was much worse received, which is fascinating to me, actually. Now, this movie was very divisive from what I saw. I saw that there were reviews of people who actually did pretty much enjoy it. And for a lot of the same reasons that some of the people who hated it. And the biggest point of contention seems to be exactly what you would expect: the themes, the messaging, um, centering around sexism, uh, um, the patriarchy, women being like these kinds of people, these kind of men wanting to keep women in a subservient role. And like you even have like the example of a woman in this who is like basically the depiction of a trad wife or a traditional wife, someone, a woman who chooses to not just be in that role because they feel like they have to, but they want to. Someone who desires to be in a subservient role to men, which is wild to me. And the fact that um, our main girl here called her a traitor is very relevant. Um, I didn't hate this personally. Was this movie extremely over the top with its messaging? Oh, absolutely. But I think that was intentional. Like, it very much felt like this was meant to be a movie that was taking a real life issue and taking the idea of like this, a remake, a sort of remake, even if it had nothing to do in any way with the original, outside of a sorority being attacked and sorority girls being killed. Um, but taking this idea, remaking it with like this modern theme, and kind of just going ham with it, kind of making it as silly as just the concept of it would sound. Um, they decided to lean into it rather than to try to make it more like down to earth, I guess is a way to put it. And I can appreciate that personally. It felt not like a satire, like it didn't feel like it was trying to satirize these kinds of things exactly. Because it definitely felt like you're supposed to take this kind of things seriously. It definitely was trying to be like you're supposed to see this as like a legitimate problem, but they're expressing it in such an over the top way that you're supposed to kind of just have fun with it as well. And in that way, it kind of reminds me of Ready or Not. Because Ready or Not definitely touches on certain themes and messaging as well. It kind of plays with the idea of like, oh, my partner's family, my step family are terrible and evil and whatnot. Or not step family, family in law, my in laws. There you go. I knew I used the wrong term there. My in laws are evil. You know, that entire kind of trope and joke and everything. It kind of has a similar tone to it like that. And I think if you view the movie in that way, to where it's like not quite a satire, but it's just trying to have fun with it while sharing a message, I think it's better. Though, um, obviously, not saying that the message of Ready or Not was that in-laws are evil and that you should like hate them or anything. Not trying to say that, but you know what I mean, just in terms of the tone. Um, and there were other themes and messages about that movie. A lot of them tied to wealth and whatnot. That's more of the themes that you were supposed to take seriously with Ready or Not. Um, by the way, Ready or Not 2 apparently had a trailer drop, and I shared it on the Discord, but I didn't watch it because I don't want to be spoiled, because I definitely will be reacting to that. But yeah, check it out if you want to. Just don't spoil me. Um, anyway, but yeah, this movie felt like that was the kind of tone you're going for. Because here's the thing: a lot of the things they were saying in here, and a lot of the again theming and messaging is correct. Throughout most of human history, men were in charge. And not just in charge, like generally speaking, but in a way that specifically put down women. And in the modern day, when this came out in 2019, or even today in 2025, this is still relevant because there are still people who try to do this. As silly and over the top as it sounds, I literally hear, like, on an almost daily basis, people literally saying that that kind of stuff should be the norm again. And it's pretty much entirely, right-wing MAGA chuds. But the point still stands that there are people who believe that women should be subservient secondary citizens to men. That they believe that men are specifically equipped to rule over women. And a lot of them, I would even say most of them, maybe most of them, believe this because of, right-wing Christianity. And like even even though they don't go like super heavy into like the Christianity aspect of it, there are definitely elements of this that you could definitely interpret that way, such as the bow before our Lord and stuff, just the cult like mentality. There's a lot that you can read in that kind of way. But it just kind of centers around and builds that idea of, sexism. That men inherently throughout history have victimized women. And that's just true. That's just fact. And yeah, like they bring up the idea in this movie of not all men and everything. It's like, did you just not all men me? But the thing is, like, the reason, like, she probably seems so upset at that, and the reason a lot of people would be if someone said that to them, especially a man, is because it's like, we fucking know not all men. It's like, no shit. No one is saying literally every single man in the world is a bad person. That's not the point. It's an institutional thing. It's a societal thing. It has nothing to do with literally every single man. You are completely missing the point when you say that kind of thing. And that's, again, not what this was trying to say, because we literally have an example of one who ended up being good. We literally have example of one who survived in the end and who helped them escape because he was a good guy who genuinely didn't believe in that macho alpha male bullshit. It literally, like, I bet you there's a lot of people out there, especially a lot of men, who hate on this movie and who specifically say that this movie is just out to get all men and is just like a man-hating movie. They do that a lot with any movie that tries to, like, stand up for women's empowerment. And that's not what this is doing. Again, it kind of proves that that's not what it's doing. But again, the theming and messaging is very heavy-handed. It just is. But again, that's kind of the point. It's meant to be silly and over the top. Like, this movie is also, like, PG-13, and there's not, like, the deaths and everything aren't, like, super gory and shit. Like, they even use, like, instead of having, like, blood coming out of the statue and used for these rituals, it's, like, this black ichor. It's, like, yeah. That's clearly part of the joke. That's what they're trying to do. Like, this movie didn't need to be rated R, because that's not what it was going for. This was meant to take a serious subject matter that was, again, serious during 2019, but also especially serious even today, and before 2019, of course, too. Bring it to light, but also make this movie just fun and ridiculous. And it did have some twists I wasn't expecting. I thought Helena was dead. I thought she had died. I did not know she was going to still be alive, and that she was in on it. I honestly didn't see the cult thing coming, even though I should have, because it made it pretty clear, and it was definitely like not just hinting at it, but pretty much telling us so. Because they talked about like the founder like getting into black magic and stuff, and they showed the scene with the girl like seeing them doing the pledge thing. But I'm like thinking like, oh, that's just them doing pledge shit, because it's like, yeah, that stuff feels very cultish anyway. And it literally makes that kind of joke in the movie. They literally say that exact thing. It's like, yeah, that's what pledges and all this shit is. It's like, so clearly you're supposed to be just like enjoying the movie for what it is without like analyzing it too deeply, acknowledging its messages and themes, while having fun with the horror aspect of it. And there were some legitimately good scares, some legitimately good jump scares and all. Um, there was some tension. It wasn't like the most so, and I wouldn't even though I'm defending this movie a lot right now, it's like I wouldn't say this is like the best movie. Some of the acting was a little weird and stiff. Some of the writing was a little off. Honestly, it felt a little rushed as well. I feel like there should have been a little bit more. Once the killing started, it progressed a little too quickly. And then like the last two-thirds, no, maybe just the last half of it was like it just like snowballed so quickly. I feel like this movie would have benefited from like an extra 10-15 minutes, just to build things up more and to have a little more of a break between things. But that's just me. It also feels like everything kind of came to a head in the end, where it's like I was starting to wonder if we would even get answers to all of the different like setups. Not really answers, but you know what I mean. All like payoffs to all the different setups. I mean, because you had the thing with uh, oh my God, what's his name? Brian, who had raped her. You have the entire thing with the teacher who blew up at her for who blew up at Chris for like complaining that the syllabus was only like white straight men, and so on and so forth. It's like you have all these different like mini storylines, and you're wondering, okay, how are all of these going to wrap up? How are all these going to be answered? They all got answered, to be fair. Everything got like paid off. And honestly, with having it all wrapped up into one like big conspiratorial cult shit moment, I found the fun in that. Like maybe I'm just a little looser when it comes to like being critical of films. I mean, I guess it makes sense. I talked about how I do like movies like Batman v Superman and the 2016 Suicide Squad, movies that are, pretty looked down on. And I tend to be very like not just forgiving of them, but I just like them. I think they're good films. So it's like you could say that I go too easy on movies. You could say that I'm like, you could say I'm too forgiving. You could say that I don't like think about it enough. But honestly, when it comes down to it, I believe I said this in the pre-thoughts. I just watch the movie, and if I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. And I think about why that might be. But I think about why I might like it after I watch it, not like while I'm watching it. If anything comes to me while I'm watching it and I realize why I'm not liking something, then I'll mention it. But I'm watching to watch the movie, to enjoy the movie. So it's like I'm not watching to overanalyze and pick everything apart. I'm not a critic like that. I would never consider myself a critic. So, yeah, it's just I feel like if you did like really pick apart this movie, yeah, I could see how you really wouldn't like it. But again, there's a lot of people who did like this. Maybe not like see it as amazing, because I don't see it as amazing or anything. But it's not even just serviceable. I think it's good. It's not great, but it's good. It's a good, enjoyable, fun film. It's ridiculous. It's over the top, and it's part of the charm of it, in my opinion. Like, the messages are still like valid and legit, and like for like I would say the first half of the movie even there was nothing wrong with what was being said or even how it was being said. It only got really silly as it went like further in, especially in the second half. The first half, like, it wasn't even really that silly. It was actually like pretty reasonable. Honestly, I think the moment where it really started to get silly was when they were having the fight in the kitchen and the one boyfriend interjected, and then it started to kind of snowball from that moment. Just the movie in general, it started to snowball from that moment and get like insanely like intense, and the killers started showing up, and it started to get a lot sillier from that point on. It basically entered the climax pretty much out of nowhere. Like, seriously, there was no hints that the climax was about to start. They're just like arguing and everything, and then like the dude storms out, and like they continue to fight and argue. They suddenly start getting the text, and it's like come get us or whatever was said, and then suddenly arrow out of nowhere, and it just jump scared the shit out of me. It's just like, oh, okay, we're doing this now, suddenly out of fucking nowhere. Again, that goes with what I said before about like maybe needing 10-15 minutes extra, because it really felt like it just suddenly jumped into the climax out of nowhere. Honestly, I really feel like we had like another like 10 minutes maybe before the climax would have started. It just really felt sudden. But that's not entirely a bad thing. I still enjoyed it. I had fun with it. So honestly, all in all, I think this was like a 6.57 out of 10. Good, not great. Definitely above average. Again, this is based on initial watch. But yeah, I had a fun time. And again, I agreed with the messaging. Because it, again, it sucks and it's stupid and it shouldn't be the case, but there are still people who preach this shit. Like, pretty word by word too, with what they were saying at it, like the ending scene in the pledge room and everything. The shit they were saying, I have heard people literally genuinely say pretty much word for word. Even the entire trad wife speech from Helena. It's like I have heard people say those exact things entirely seriously. And it is so dystopian every time I hear that. It is so insane. And it's silly. It's ridiculous. It's obviously like over the top stupid. But again, unfortunately, it's very real, which is scary as fuck. And I hate it. And I hate this world we live in where people do act like that entirely seriously. It is it is horrifying. Like, without any sense of joking here. It is genuinely one of the scariest things about this world, and especially about American politics and, religion. Um but either way, tell me what you thought. And if you don't like this, that's fine. I'm not saying you're not allowed to not like it. You're definitely allowed to not like it. It's all subjective, and especially with a movie like this, it's very understandable if some people find it to be too much. I would not blame you for that. I can definitely see why someone would see this as like just too much over the top. It really depends on your tastes and really depends on how much of that kind of ridiculousness you can handle. Um, for me, I guess I am a lot more forgiving. I guess you can say that for things like that. I tend to be fine with ridiculous, over the top silliness. as long as it's used properly and in a movie that's, not really meant to be overly serious. So I think it was done well here. But like I said, tell me your thoughts down below, and hope you've been having a very happy holidays. I haven't said that as much as I probably should have this season, but no matter what you celebrate, whether it be Christmas or Kwanzaa or Hanukkah or Yule or whatever else, or even if you don't really celebrate anything this time of the year, I'm hoping that you're having a great holiday season nonetheless. And we only have one more of these to go. There is only one more of these. It'll be on Christmas Eve night, and it will be the remake of Miracle on 34th Street, the 90s remake of that, which I've heard people do like, just not as much as the original. And I did like the original. I actually really did. So, maybe not as much as other people, but I did like it. So I'm hoping I really do like this one too. Um, and we'll kind of go from there. But that will also be the last reaction of the year of 2025. And after that, we are on break in terms of reactions overall until Monday, January 5th. Monday, January 5th, reactions will resume. So in the meantime, thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.